Hey everyone, Matt Pisarcik with RazorEmporium.com. Today for a product review. So one of the hottest razors on the market these days is the OneBlade, because I've seen these and I had the opportunity to get my hands on one. I thought I would share a review with you guys. So very first thing I noticed is packaging. Totally awesome. I'd give it a 5 out of 5. Very well done. It's kind of got like a brown craft board look to it, kind of industrial. Logo on it, lined very nicely, and inside has a kind of a rubber insert or whatever this is, like a foam insert, and it's got the ergonomics to be able to pull that out real easily. That's great. In terms of the actual razor, my initial feedback is it's very, very handsome, very beautiful, very well made. I understand these are made with kind of a two-step process. I had an opportunity to meet the owner at Big Shave West and kind of picked his brain a little bit on how this is made. So a lot of the shape is done with metal injection molding, which gives you most of the shape, and then you actually do some final milling to kind of give a little more contour, and some of the final details are done with a mill. But overall, beautiful, beautiful. So if you're unfamiliar with the OneBlade, it does take kind of a proprietary blade, so it doesn't take a standard double edge, and it takes a blade that is identical to the old Valet auto strops from like the 30s. So kind of cool. These are made by Feather, and I believe they're brought into the US exclusively for OneBlade. So it's going to load kind of different from the back. You're going to, the slit that's right here in the back, you're going to just take this blade and slide it in, kind of push it forward, and it does click. My first feedback when I first got it was that it was able to move. The blade actually can move a little bit. And apparently they did that intentionally. I guess the first version of the OneBlade, it did not do that, and allowing a little bit of this blade to have some movement, I guess, was favorable with most people's feedback. So they left it. Other very, very apparent noticeable thing is that this is not a traditional double edge or single edge razor with a fixed head. This actually does incorporate a tension spring, and it does have a pivoting kind of head, so kind of different for a premium razor, but I want to give it a shot and see how it does. So that's our razor. For today's soap and for a lot of these reviews we're going to be doing, we're going to kind of try to keep other variables very constant. So I'll be using a tried and true classic that I've used for years and years, the Parasso White for sensitive skin. And for speed's sake, we'll have a Boar's brush to make a lather real quick. Let's get started. I'm just gonna do my traditional beard prep. Normally I would take a shower and right after the shower, pop up into the bathroom for a lather that my skin's already moist, but I'll kind of replicate that just by getting my skin damp with this towel first. And I'm a very big proponent, as most people know, of the cold water. That's what we got here, the cold water shave. I find that the results are a lot more consistent. I love the feeling of hot water, but for me, sometimes I can get more of the razor irritation from it. So I've always had great luck with the cold water shave. Go and get the brush wet. Great thing with Boar's brushes is you don't need much load or lather time. They make a lather very quickly. I'm finding my collared shirt may have been the wrong choice for today's review. I'll do the old trick. Tuck that collar in. So make sure when you're lathering, I always, as you're seeing, I really like to do big swirls. I find that does the best to both lift up the hair, work the lather in, and also generate a good amount of volume. And then towards the end, I kind of smooth things out, and I always go in the opposite direction of beard growth. So I'll go up my cheeks, and then across on my neck, because my neck does crazy spirals. And that way I've kind of fully lifted up the hair. I haven't shaved for a couple days, so I have a good amount of stubble here to take down. Let's get started. All right. I'm always a big fan of the skin stretching. I learned a lot of that in the straight razor world. And I've kind of continued it over into safety razor land. So the first thing I'm immediately noticing, and I'm kind of having to change my angle and my pressure up from what I'm a little bit more used to. Like, it feels really smooth. I'm doing a little bit of blade buffing. I'm kind of one of those people that does more of a progressive blade buff, almost like you see in a barber shop as I'm going, rather than doing a bunch of passes. My skin just does a lot better with that. So yeah, that feels great in terms of the stubble reduction. Close and comfortable, not peeling my skin off. But I am kind of having to find a very unique angle that wasn't immediately intuitive, but it is a very different, head. I'm finding that the pivoting head is kind of helping a little bit find that angle. But I'm also kind of feeling like I have to go over an area maybe a little bit more than I would normally have to. I'm used to kind of a little bit of more of a kind of buff rather than over, over, over. It feels great in my hand. I mean, the weight is awesome. A lot of people don't like feather blades because they feel like they're too harsh. I myself have used feathers in the past. When I had a slant razor, I was using feathers all the time. And I always told people that shave number 1 with the feather is kind of rough, kind of harsh. But then shave number 2, 3, 4 are great. And then they kind of drop off a cliff after shave 4 or 5, at least for me. They just felt dull after that. Like I didn't get a lot of life. Whereas another blade, I can maybe get 6, 7, 8 shaves. They were kind of a 4 or 5 and done. But this is not like that. This is great on the first shave. Yeah, I'm definitely kind of experiencing this kind of different angle or more kind of different pressure needed on my neck. From what the owner told me in Pasadena at the Big Shave West, is this razor is not exactly, like a traditional double edge or single edge. Really kind of designed to be like a hybrid from people switching for the first time from cartridge razors who are more used to the head that moves. And I can definitely understand what he meant by that, because this kind of does remind me in some ways of that. It's been many years since I've used a sensor or a Mach 3. Kind of having a little difficulty at the very base of my neck. This head is kind of throwing me off a little bit because it's making me want to kind of pot my face a little more than I normally would. Well, I'm going to call it there. Very different shave. I'm not saying necessarily the best shave I've ever had. I don't think it's the worst shave I've ever had for sure. It definitely is something that takes some getting used to. This is not your normal double-edged razor where you kind of know the angle and can adapt to it pretty quickly. The flexible head I think is really neat for the guys that are converting for the first time to double edge or single edge shaving from a cartridge, and they're used to that kind of flexibility. I've been away from that for at least a decade, and so I think for me it's kind of taken me a minute to kind of relearn a flexible head, and I'm kind of also a little bit not enjoying some of the old habits I kind of feel are coming back up. Like, I usually do blade buffing, but I'm used to blade buffing kind of being more of a kind of coming down progressively, maybe 2 or 3 times over an area. I kind of felt like some of this, especially my neck, I had to kind of paw at a lot to get it to be the right angle and to actually take down the stubble. And for that reason, yeah, gosh, I have a little bit of a weeper on my neck and it looks a little irritated down here. So not that. I didn't really like that, but my cheeks feel great. So maybe it's just one of those things you have to kind of get to know a little bit more. But I love the machining on it. I love the look of it. I think it's a beautiful piece of hardware. So I think it definitely has its customer. So my thoughts on the OneBlade. I think it's presented very, very well. Great packaging. I think the overall look and feel of the razor are awesome. It feels great in your hand, awesome weight. It feels super modern, feels very high end. I think it's a razor that if you are somebody transitioning from cartridge razors and you wanted to maybe get an upgrade or something that looks really, really great in your bathroom or something just feels better in your hand, I think this is an awesome razor. Some of the drawbacks, I don't like that the blade is proprietary more or less, that I don't have 20 different choices of blades. The price point is something that maybe not everyone can afford. It is in the $400 range. And then last but not least, I did not like that some of my habits from cartridge razor shaving kind of came back. I felt like I had to go over the same area more than I really would need to, even if I am someone who does some blade buffing with a double edge or single edge. I'm usually just doing 2 or 3 kind of real quick kind of passes. This, I kind of felt like I first had to narrow down the right angle and then kind of go on a plan of attack. And it ended up with kind of going over the same area a little bit too many times. In fact, I nicked my neck, where normally I'm not someone who nicks my neck very often. So I did not like that. But overall, good. And I hope today's review was insightful, and I'm glad we had a chance to use the OneBlade. Thanks so much for watching. Please stay tuned for more reviews and other education from Razor Emporium. We're here to help with all of your wet shaving needs. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.